Hey guys, it's Brit, and today I wanted to do just a video talking about how I got into this little show on HBO. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's Game of Thrones. That was sarcasm, by the way. So, Game of Thrones, how did I get into it? Well, I've already talked a little bit about it. I'll link some videos in the description, and I'll also link some above here as I speak in the cards above here. But okay, so I got into Game of Thrones about 5 or 6 years ago now. My freshman year of college, I met this guy, and he was really into Game of Thrones, the television show. At that time, only Game of Thrones only had 2 seasons out, and he was really, really into the show, and I was really, really into this guy who really liked Game of Thrones, and so I started watching Game of Thrones for him, which sounds awful, but you know, sometimes bad things happen for a reason, and I don't know. I'm not one to like believe that much in fate or whatever, but the point is this guy got me really, really into Game of Thrones. I hadn't started reading the books until about, oh, when was it? I think when season 4 came out. I started reading the books because this guy and I had falling out. We no longer speak to one another. He kind of always said, "Hey, don't read the books. You don't need the books." He was a very he was a very not nice guy, and he used to judge me for some of the things that I liked doing, like reading and writing, which, was kind of shitty. I call him Ramsay Bolton for a reason. While he didn't, while I didn't suffer the amount of abuse that a poor little baby Theon did, I kind of sympathize with him, and I've talked about that a little bit in previous videos, earlier videos on my channel. But the long story short is, after this guy and I had this falling out, I said, you know what? I took a break from Game of Thrones just to kind of figure things out in my head. Like, did I really, really enjoy the series, or was I just into the series because of my being around him? You know what I mean? The long story. I said, I was in a bookstore one day, and I was staring at George R. R. Martin's A Game of Thrones, and I took a risk, and so I bought it, and I said, I bought it, just kind of to say, screw you, I'm gonna read this, because you always said I couldn't. So I read it, and I realized that I had fallen in love with Game of Thrones, just everything Game of Thrones. It helped me heal a little bit from that guy, and I've loved it to this day, and I'm really glad that I realized that, yes, this is something that I love, and not just something that I thought I loved because he loved. There are things that there are different things that I like for different reasons, that some of you might be a little surprised, but at times I actually prefer HBO to the books. I look at them as separate mediums, guys, because they are separate mediums, you know? The books are great, and I think season 1 and 2 really do the television series from a book adaptation a lot of justice. Now, obviously, there are things that change. They up the actors' ages a little bit just for reasons. It's very hard to find actors that young, especially with Rickon. He was only, 4 or 5 in the books, and Bran was 7. I think they might have aged him up to 11 or 12, maybe? I'm not sure. But I know they upped all the characters' ages just a little bit for the television show, just so they could get actors that could properly portray what they were trying to portray. And I think that's really important. So HBO is, kind of its own story now, and I think season 6 is personally one of my favorite seasons to date. I think people kind of debate me whether it's a good season or not. I know it's its own separate story, but I like what they did with that story. I didn't so much like how they introduced Euron Greyjoy into the series. I thought it was really melodramatic and kind of confusing if you hadn't read the books, which I have. I've read the books multiple times, especially a Game of Thrones, that whenever I'm feeling down, I kind of just sit down, and it's so much easier to watch than just to go back and read an entire series, especially one as large as A Song of Ice and Fire. Let me see, let's see, which one do I have right here? I have A Dance with Dragons right here. I have different editions of these all throughout my house. This just happens to be the faux leather bound editions, which I like. They're small and they're easy to carry around, but their pages are really thin. It's kind of like carrying around like a Bible. It fits nice in your hand, which is a pro, but okay. So I've gotten a little bit off track. So that's how I got into Game of Thrones. I met this guy that turned out to be not so nice, but he got me into Game of Thrones, and without him, I probably wouldn't be here on YouTube today. I wouldn't have something that I hold so dear to my heart, which might sound a little dumb to some of you, but it's very special to me, and Game of Thrones is important to me, and Game of Thrones changed my life. I owe a lot to George R.R. Martin for giving me characters to relate to understand struggles, and in turn maybe help other people with those struggles. You guys know I love Theon, and maybe that video will maybe help you guys understand my love for Theon a little bit more. I relate to Theon, and Theon helped me heal. I know he's fictional, but I think, if Theon was real, I think we would help heal each other. But unfortunately, he's not real, or that could be a good thing. That could be a good thing, depending on how you look at it. But which medium do I like the best? This is hard. I I said I prefer the TV show because I like visualizing, and I got into the show first, so it's a lot easier for me to visualize these characters as the actors that are on the television. So I see Amelia Clark, I see Alfie Allen, I see Sean Bean. Those are the people that I see when I read the books at beach, because the show was the first thing I saw. So it's really nice for me to see what's going on. Let's see. There's a comic graphic novel series that I'm not sold on. It's really, really accurate to the book, but I feel like with a with a book as big as a Game of Thrones, it's really hard to transpose that into a graphic novel. So while I love Game of Thrones and I love the Song of Ice and Fire series, the graphic novels are my least favorite way to experience Game of Thrones. Okay, I've rambled on for about 12 minutes now, so I think that's enough to give you guys a backstory about my love and my passion for Game of Thrones. And until next time, guys, I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you.